Zoran Mamdani. Our beautiful boy has done it. He actually became the friggin' mayor, and he hit the ground running in his first couple months in office. Before I get into anything else, I feel like it's important just to point this out. Apparently, New York City has reported the lowest levels of shootings, shooting victims, and murders ever recorded for the first 2 months of a year. Major crime is down nearly 8% citywide, burglary hit a record low, and retail theft dropped 25%. All right? So do with that information what you will. Keep in mind that this is also after a minor cop exodus when they said, I'm not serving a socialist mayor. So we have fewer cops and a socialist mayor, and everything's better. So I'm not going to tell you what to think, but there it is. On the campaign trail, Mamdani's banner proposals were to freeze the rent, make buses fast and free, and deliver universal pre-K. So how much progress has he made on these three goals? Universal pre-K? Done. For some reason, New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who held out for a long time, committed to free pre-K for 2-year-olds and low-cost pre-K for kids under 5 very early in Mamdani's term. And this is throughout the state, not just New York City. I don't know how he did it, but Mamdani is a charmer. He's like your friend growing up who was really good at talking to parents, so they always trusted him. He just has the magic touch. Now, why is universal childcare important? Well, it allows parents who need or want a job to go to their jobs. I'm sure you've seen people bring their kids to work, whether it's a fast food worker, or an office worker, or a teacher. So it can be done, but that makes your job a lot more difficult. And there are some jobs where it's not possible to bring your kids. With free or affordable childcare, the kids get to be in an enriching environment and the parent can work. And maybe parents won't have to work multiple jobs anymore to pay for the absurdly expensive childcare. You would think everyone could get on board with this, even those who love capitalism and commerce, right? But a lot of folks on the right will hear universal childcare and not only say, how are you going to pay for it, but also accuse people of not wanting to raise their own kids. If you're a working person, you really can't win with the right. They want you to have kids, but they want you to work all day. But if you drop your kids off somewhere so you can work, then you're a bad parent because they yearn for the days of single-income households when women would stay home, but they don't want to increase pay or benefits even for men. Mamdani is demonstrating that the solutions are on the left. I believe he sees his job as restoring the politics of FDR, the Socialist Party, and the sewer socialists, all of whom played a role in creating the social services Americans enjoyed for decades before the Reagan era ruined everything. If Americans ever had class consciousness, it was when the rate of unionized workers was over 30%. So he already won pre-K. What about freezing the rent? He hasn't been able to do this yet, but it looks like it's just around the corner. A few members of the Rent Guidelines Board just ended their terms, and after appointing their replacements, the majority of the board are in favor of the rent freeze. So this is happening. Remember that this is not a pie-in-the-sky policy and has been done under previous mayors, most recently de Blasio, which is what I say when someone sneezes. To be clear, the board is only able to freeze the rent for rent-stabilized apartments, but according to Mamdani, this encompasses about 2 million tenants, which is about a quarter of the 8.2 million residents of New York City. Mamdani hopes to increase the number of rent-stabilized apartments and public housing units, in addition to more housing construction. So he's going to freeze the rent. But freeze the rent was really a banner slogan representing his many planned housing reforms. On day one, he revitalized the mayor's office to protect tenants, MOPT, which was first created in 2019 under de Blasio, and of course, Eric Adams basically shut it down after he took office in 2022. The MOPT will work to protect tenants' rights, crack down on negligent landlords, and make housing safer and more affordable.
And we will fight for New Yorkers' interests to safe and habitable homes. In doing so, we will protect tenants already long neglected from further neglect, and we will mitigate the significant risk of displacement they currently face.
Soon after taking office, Mamdani visited tenants to view the damage and decay in buildings that said landlords had neglected for years.
Getting a first-hand look at the deteriorating conditions, from an eroding bathtub surface to a rust-covered, corroded bathroom pipe and red paint splashed about.
And you told the landlord about this?
Yes.
And what was the response?
Call some numbers, but nobody want to do anything about it.
Fast, free buses could be Mamdani's most ambitious plan, with the most roadblocks, excuse the pun, in its path, because it might require another tax increase for the rich. Mamdani did spearhead a free bus pilot program in Queens as a state assemblyman, so his experience, plus that ineffable Mamdani charm, could take this plan over the finish line. But again, while the banner policy may still be in the incubator, the mayor has wasted no time getting to work on other transportation issues. On January 6th, his 6th day in office, mind you, the magnanimous Mamdani made another magnificent move by beginning work on a $70 million overhaul of the Williamsburg Bridge bike path. This bike path is notoriously dangerous and poorly maintained, most notably near the end, where riders will find what is known as the Williamsburg Bridge bump. Mamdani shoveled the first chunk of gravel for the project that is beginning by flattening this dangerous and inconvenient bump. He has also jumped into action on labor rights. On January 30th, Mamdani introduced new enforcement actions against delivery apps, in this case Uber Eats, Hungry Panda, and Fantuan, which is my favorite Denzel Washington movie. These three companies have not complied with an existing minimum pay law, so the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection won a $5 million settlement in back pay for the employees. Streets Blog NYC writes, quote, "The era of giant corporations juicing profits by underpaying workers is over," Commissioner Sam Levine said in a statement. "I'm proud that this agency is not only returning full back pay, but is recovering damages and penalties to send a strong message that cheating workers will not be tolerated." That's what I want to hear from my government. Mamdani is already teaching the public that the state is much more capable of helping them and improving their lives than they have been led to believe. He's showing us that when Democrats don't fight back against Republicans and the billionaire class and don't use state power for good when they have it, those are political choices, not inevitable limitations. Look at him. Before even taking office, he tamed Trump like a dog.
Like a dog.
I'm a socialist, and I do believe that we can and should one day end the capitalist system entirely. However, we still haven't quite figured out how to do that, and it will likely entail a transitional period among other stages of development. In the meantime, we have to, A, increase class consciousness among the proletariat, especially in the US. B, demonstrate that the left is serious about its goals and priorities and not just a chorus of critics. And C, demonstrate that the left can win and govern. That last point is extremely important. We have to get there because Americans have been so thoroughly poisoned against socialism and anything left of Reagan, honestly, that they don't even believe these simple, common sense policies are possible. I don't believe that DSA can fix everything and build socialism just by electing socialists into a very not socialist party in a very not socialist country. But my hope is that their electoral work, along with their labor, tenants' rights, and mutual aid work, will create some of the class consciousness Americans will need if we can ever hope to tackle wealth inequality in this country, let alone abolish capitalism. I hope I can impart to you that while the campaigns and reforms carried out by folks like Mamdani and the rest of DSA are important, there are limits to their ability to serve the working class under capitalism. Just so we're clear, by working class we mean if you have a boss, you're working class. If you are a boss, you're bourgeoisie. And if you can't work because you're disabled, elderly, or a child, you're our comrade too. Every politician will disappoint you, because even the seemingly more earnest ones like Mamdani are up against a hyper-capitalist state that exists to serve the interests of the super rich. Once office holders encounter the barriers in the way of their goals, like Hochul possibly refusing to raise taxes on the rich, the temptation to soften their policies and rhetoric must be immense. Keep up the pressure, even on the politicians you like.
People like me are constantly attacked by politicians for standing up for Palestine, and you are constantly defending the right for Israel to exist. My family is in Palestine right now, constantly under attack, and I'm hearing you say free Palestine, but also Israel has the right to exist. Don't be hypocritical.
Frustrating historical moments like this one have led to revolution before, but others have led to stagnation and complacency. People were thankful for some much-needed reforms, then went on hoping capitalism would treat them better from there on out. Capitalism is the root of our problems, from housing to food prices to gas prices to genocide and militarism all over the world. We deserve better, and we can get it. Thanks for watching. If you like what I do here, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you can, help us out on Patreon or buy me a coffee. See you next time. Bye now.